Introducing the next generation of 3D tomosynthesis from CupTech, delivering crystal clear, high-quality 3D images with the precision of amorphous selenium direct capture. A large, active imaging area ensures no detail is missed, and seamless integration with Gamma Pro streamlines your workflow. Studies show the MOZART system can reduce re-excisions by up to 50%, while preserving healthy tissue for better cosmetic outcomes. The result? Improved surgical efficiency and quality of care for patients.
When it comes to specimen imaging, there's only one name you need to know. It's CupTech.
This is the Mood Food Podcast. There's a moment for anyone who's been diagnosed with breast cancer when everything shifts. Time slows down, you hear the words, but your body feels frozen. And then the questions start. Will I be okay? Will this surgery be enough? What happens if they miss something? For our guest today, those questions weren't just fears, they became reality. She endured not one, not two, but 5 surgeries in her journey to become breast cancer free. And after all that physical pain, emotional exhaustion, and surgical trauma, she looked at the system that failed her and said, "This has to change." What came next was something extraordinary. She and a group of women launched what's now known as the MOZART Mission, a fundraiser to bring a groundbreaking technology called the MOZART System into operating rooms. It's specimen imaging, a powerful way to give surgeons a clearer picture in real time to reduce repeat surgeries and give women better outcomes the first time. This episode is about pain and purpose, about how one woman's story became a catalyst for change, not just for herself, but for every woman walking into surgery after her. We're going to talk about her fight, her recovery, her quality of life, and how she took control of a broken process and made it better. Let's begin. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
I'm Allison. I'm Val.
Nice to meet you guys. So you guys are in Canada. What town is it?
We're in Grande Prairie, Alberta. So we are 4.5, maybe 5 hours north of Edmonton, which is our capital, and we are to the west of the province. So
So it's starting to get cold?
I guess it depends on, probably for you guys. We still think it's beautiful. Yeah, it's still nice here.
Awesome. So my first question to you guys is, what was life before you guys got diagnosed?
So for me, I had a I have a family of 3 children. We had several businesses. We had a bee farm, oil fields business, properties, and life was busy. The kids were playing soccer. My older boy was in college and he lived out of the home. It was go, 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 go. There was always things that needed to be done. And it was a full life. It was a busy life. And it was really shocking when I got the diagnosis of my breast cancer. I didn't think that it would be. So it took a lot to absorb it. My girlfriend was with me. She's a nurse, she's an instructor at the local college. And so we just rubbed hands and had a little cry and went home. And I told my husband at the time that I had cancer, and there was a lot of swearing on my part and crying and laughing and trying to absorb the full effect of it.
Yeah, it's I think when people hear that word, it just kind of, throws you for a loop. Like, how can it happen to me?
To verbalize it is the hardest thing, to actually get the words out of your mouth. Like, I couldn't say it for after the 5th person, it finally felt a bit more comfortable. But I mean, in my age group, I'm 58. That's the worst thing, is cancer. It just, get that disease is basically a death sentence, is what we grew up believing. And so it was just so difficult just to verbalize it.
Val, it sounds like you were really busy between the kids and all the businesses. Were you basically the strong person in this whole thing?
My husband was working as well, my ex-husband, and we had different parts of the business. So I did the books and the managing of the people in the rental properties, and he did the bee farm and just keeping everything together. So it was a very busy life.
What about you, Allison?
Well, before cancer, I was 39 years old, busy mom, business owner, 4 kids, and I think they were 13, 11, 10, and 7 or something like that. And so they were really busy with sports. I work full time, and we just had a meet and greet at a new family doctor. And I had just said in passing, he had met the kids, and I was like, "Thank you for taking us on." And I had just said in passing, "Hey, I've got lumpy, bumpy boobs," and he said, "Well, why don't we do an ultrasound as a baseline?" And I have no known family history of cancer or breast cancer or any cancer really, and no symptoms, no needs. So I was like, "Sure, no problem." And so I went for the ultrasound, and then there was some spots there. So I went, got a biopsy, and was called back. And sure enough, I have cancer. And it was absolutely from way left field. I wasn't expecting it at all. And I had gone to the appointment by myself for the follow up because I didn't think anything of it. And I just remember I had texted my husband and said, "Well, it's cancer." And it was kind of like, I don't even understand what that means. Like it wasn't something that I was even understanding, which, so I think it was really overwhelming. And, your mind goes dark pretty quick. And then the idea of, sitting down and telling your kids, that was really scary. And of course they went to, a really bad spot too. And, yeah, it was really hard. It was really hard. Yeah.
Yes, this is what, I mean, the moment you hear that word, your life is like, comes to a standstill, and you want to see how you can absorb this and still function in your role.
Yeah. And still be strong. Sorry, we were talking about like Val, strong in business and strong in your relationship and strong for your kids. And I think I don't, as women, we take so much on just to be like, you know, it's okay. And then to be the one to have to admit that, oh, I'm going to need help was really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest hurdle, that you kind of have to now say that I need help. While I'm helping you guys, I need help. I need your support. And I think, congratulations that you're here and you're strong again. And you face that with bravado, I guess. With your kids, with your husbands, whatever it took, you know. So I just, wanted to say, how did your life shift in that moment?
So for myself, I knew that I couldn't keep doing the work that I was doing. And there was one employee, Sarah Knight, that had worked for us and done all the work that I did and knew the business. At the time, last time I had spoken with her, she wasn't happy in her job. So I asked if she would come and take over for me while I underwent chemotherapy. And she graciously agreed. And she came up to Grande Prairie from Vancouver Island and basically stepped into my shoes. So that was a huge relief for me. And I knew at that moment that I needed to fight for my life. That's what was important. Nothing else was important because if I died, it wouldn't matter. I needed to live. I had that in right away was that I need to focus on me and survive this.
Yeah. And I think I kind of just did the opposite. I just carried on. Like I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to keep working. I'm going to just plow through it, and I'm going to just be able to carry on, And it was really an eye opener when you realize just how sick and how tired and how much you really do need to depend on your friends and your family and your coworkers and yeah, I thought no problems, I'll carry on business as usual, but that wasn't the case.
So, I mean, the question that I want to ask is, when you got diagnosed and then you had to, go on this journey where you're looking for the best doctors, you get a treatment plan. Um, did you have good doctors and good support system?
So we live in a remote community and we have a cancer center, but it's a small center at the time. And so there's only one oncologist. We don't, in Canada, you don't have an option depending where you live to different people. You get what you get in your community. And so I met with Dr. Moreau, and initially I was to have surgery first, and then they decided to do chemotherapy first. So there was a switch up and a couple week delay. But basically, for myself, I'm going through modern medicine to start this journey. If that doesn't work, whatever I need to do. If I need to go to India and find something over there or wherever it is, I will. But for now, I believe in the Canadian healthcare system. I believe in the people in my community, and I wanted to start here.
Yeah, I had really good support too, between our family doctor finding it initially, and then great surgeon and good support with the cancer. So we don't because we don't get to pick. You're very limited to your um your healing journey. It is what it is. And so I also started with surgery, and it was right at the beginning of COVID, and then I'd had because I'd had to have so many surgeries. We had to start chemo, and then I had to round back and have more surgeries after, and then carry on with radiation. And yeah,
So, Allison, what I'm hearing is you had to have surgery before you went for chemo?
yeah, yeah. So we started with just a lumpectomy because we thought, it's small. We'll just take it, and we'll be, aggressive, so we get the margins, and then and he's a great surgeon, so we sent it away, and we have to wait about 2 weeks for pathology to come back. And then you get called back in, and they're like, oh, shoot, the margins aren't clear. So we need to have another one. And so it was brought up of, do you do a single mastectomy, or do you try again to do another lumpectomy? I healed really well for it. I felt fantastic after, I bounced back. So I was like, okay, we'll do another lumpectomy. And then it just kind of kept snowballing. And I think the cancer was bigger than what we had had thought in the beginning. So
Right. What they actually could see or kind of diagnose, essentially.
Right.
Was that the case with you as well, Val?
I went with chemotherapy first. I met with a surgeon, and we were talking, and he was asking a question about how my health and what size my breasts were. And I'm like, well, I'm an H. And it's like, well, is that a common size? And I'm like, oh, yeah, we have a group. We get together. We, share. And he starts laughing and goes, really? And I'm like, no, I'm like 4'11". It's very uncommon. And he says, I think you're a good candidate to do chemo first. I'll talk with the oncologist and go from there. So that's where the decision was made. And I was prepared to just listen to what they told me to do and follow it through.
Did you also have multiple surgeries post chemo?
No, I had one lumpectomy, and there was some within the margins, but it was a millimeter away. So they opted to do an extra radiation treatment with me. I had, I believe it was 4 extra radiations from, they called it, to take care of the cells that may have been around. So I was very fortunate, really fortunate.
Okay. And so you had a whole team that you were dealing with, both of you.
yes, yeah. I think here it's kind of different because it's almost like you do this section and then you get passed to the next one. And then I know that they talk amongst, with your plan, but you kind of do this, and then they, you graduate to the next step, and then you go on. So
And then for radiation. At the time, we had to leave our community and go to another city in order to get radiation. And Grande Prairie had just gotten a radiologist. And so I met with her weekly via Zoom to discuss how it was going at that point.
So
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
that did you feel that you were informed at every moment that how your plan was going? Were you all in the loop?
I felt I had a nurse practitioner that I met with, and she was very good. And they gave us booklets on each stage. So we got a booklet for chemotherapy, a booklet for radiation, a booklet for the surgery, which explained everything that was going to happen, your recovery time, what may or may not happen, what some people feel. And that I found very beneficial to read through that. And then I found a Facebook group online, and that's how I connected with Allison and the other wonderful ladies in Grande Prairie. And that was very helpful because then you just shoot it out and get an answer.
I agree. I think along the way, the support was really great and very open. Like if you had questions or, you know, they were very helpful and supportive. And then the Facebook group, I think because when you're with some others that are going through the same thing, you can be vulnerable. And it was scary to me to put, "Hey, I'm really not feeling well," or I'm really struggling, with these side effects, and all these rallying to say, "Hey girl, we got you, you're going to be okay." And just the vulnerability and then the support that came with it. I really relied on our breast cancer group. So yeah, that's really important.
So there were no surprises. You were informed all along, and you went with it. And if you had any questions, they were answered, and
Yeah.
you
And
felt
at the
taken care
local
of.
yes, at the local cancer center, there's social workers that if you needed that, they could help you. And you did a survey before each appointment or treatment. And how are you feeling? Do you have any issues? And so they could gather the information you needed to deal with. Maybe it was constipation or you were a bit depressed or what was happening. And also, there were uh, grants and money in place to help you if you needed. My benefits plan through work originally wasn't going to cover my Neulasta, which was $1,800 per injection. And I got a call from this injury program and they said, "We're paying for yours." And I'm like, "Well, that's okay. I can pay and get reimbursed." They said, "No, we're paying for it." And it was covered. And I have no idea how they got my number or anything. It was wonderful. Just really good support.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So question is, how did it affect your day to day when you were going through the treatment?
Mine was a total change because I had been working every day and running kids around and I was at home all day. And so it had a lot of time for reflection and to do the things that I love. We lived out on an acreage. I'm a big canner and I just went once I had my first chemo and my first couple days were okay. And then I didn't feel well. The second week I felt better. And the third week I felt great. So I'm like, I am sucking every single second out of life I can for that week. So I was canning, I was walking, I was making meals for my family, I was reading, I did some online courses. And I was just, if this is it, I'm going to go out doing the things I love is how I did. So it totally did a 360-degree change in my life of what was important.
Well, that's fantastic because you got a moment to actually think what you really, really wanted your life to look like, as opposed
Mhm.
to what was, you're just kind of going through life as it comes, not thinking, what exactly I
Yeah.
wanted my
And
life.
and you get caught up with the children and the work and your friends and your family. And I kind of, myself personally, I just lost myself. Lost what was important to what I love to do. So, no.
What about you, Allison?
Well, I think I did the opposite again. I just tried to go back to work and I think I kind of stuffed it down like I'm fine, I'm going to be okay, and so I carried on. If I was sick, I stayed home and I logged in and I did my work from home, and I just sat in my office and closed my door if I needed a moment, and just tried to slug through and try to. I think it was trying to remain as normal feeling as I could for myself, and then also for my kids too, to be like, "Mom's still giving her, mom's still doing this," and then once it kind of caught up with me, and then I had to stay home for a lot longer because I got quite sick at the end. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think, the important thing is, what gives you that motivation to keep going during that time and to look forward to some, time after your recovery.
Hi, I'm Allison, and I'm a member of the MOZART Mission. We are a group of individuals who've been directly affected by breast cancer in Grande Prairie and the Peace region here. Having the MOZART machine there in the surgical suite would have saved me from 4 additional surgeries. It will reduce the need for reoccurring surgeries, and also it will give confidence to the patients knowing that all of the cancer has been removed the first time.
Hear the MOZART Mission story in a future episode of the Mood Food Podcast.
When it comes to specimen imaging, there's only one name you need to know. It's CubTech.
Well, I feel it was interesting how both of you managed this, right? So one of you decided to be going out and seeking things, whereas Allison, you went inside.
yeah, I did. I really struggled with it. I know that I struggled emotionally, probably the most. Physically was brutal, but emotionally, I had a really hard time accepting help and being viewed as weak, which is so ridiculous to think about. But I remember being like, I don't need your help. I can still do all of this stuff, and I can take care of myself, and I don't want people talking. I don't want people talking about, oh, she's sick, and I'd show up and pick up kids and stuff. So I really struggled with that, which I don't know, maybe not so much for Val, but it took a really good friend of mine. I was having a bit of a moment and saying, I'm not weak. I don't need your help. And she had brought over a meal, and I was like, I don't need your help. And she's like, we're not helping because we think you're weak. We're helping because we care about you. And so just accept it. And I was like, oh, this is a big deal for me. I do need help, and it's okay to accept it. So I really struggled emotionally with that, or just kind of relying on other people and being like, I would take care of you, but I don't need you to take care of me. So that was a big eye opener from personal. Yeah.
And then because it just got worse in Alberta with the restrictions, I couldn't have anyone come because you weren't allowed to have someone out of your bubble. And then my older daughter was in grade 12, and my youngest son was in grade 8. And so they couldn't go to school. And so then they're doing online schooling. And so I had to help with that. And the math for my youngest, out of the math for what I took in math, we both had to learn together. And so it was good. And I read, I think I can't remember his name now, the book. He was in a concentration camp. And he said, the people that don't make it are the ones who think that they'll be out next week, that they'll be out by Christmas, that they'll be wherever. And I remembered it. It came to me. And I went, I just need to deal with the now and what is happening and do it head on. And there was a drug, the doxycycline, that everyone warned me about, that it was so awful. So I got my aunt to come and to be there to take care of me and to make sure the kids were okay and such. And the pain was so excruciating. I'm a runner, and my hips and my knees, and I just went, okay, well, I am being tortured in an internment camp, and this will be done. But it's only for the next week, the next 2 weeks. I just need to make it through this moment, and it will be a memory, a bad one, but it's not the rest of my life. It's just this moment that I get. I just need to get through this. So
Yeah, that's very good.
that helps so much.
That's such good advice for someone who might be on this journey right now and feeling exactly how you guys felt during your journeys, and then hearing that you just have to get through this moment.
hmm I think it's so true. Like it seems it's so overwhelming. The plan, the surgery, chemo, and then it's like, how do you just focus just on today? I'm just going to be well. I'm going to do what I can to take care of myself, healthy, and if I can't help the kids or I can't work or whatever, it's okay to give yourself the permission to just really just to sit with yourself because it's such a big deal and we're such doers. I think that's the thing as moms, we're just so busy and that's just how we deal with issues, right?
Mhm. And so many people, I like Val meeting, we were talking about this earlier, where like Val, my friend had cancer and she was gone in 4 months and she had this and they did that. And it's like my journey is my journey and your journey is your journey. I respect what do with that, but that's not my story. My story's not written in. We need to write it ourselves. And that's okay that we're all different and just to be supportive of what we have. Be
I think that's very important to understand, and also, um, kind of let it soak in that your journey is not like anybody else's. It's completely yours, and because your perspective is different from most other people, it depends how you kind of what attitude you develop during your journey. Whether you want to throw yourself into pain or go day to day with that moment, that the next moment will be better.
Just baby steps. That's right. Yes.
Yeah. And I broke it into chunks. So when I was going through chemotherapy, I read the chemotherapy book. I didn't read ahead. I didn't do anything. I'm like, I just need to focus on chemotherapy. And that's what I need to learn about today. The rest can come later. I might not even make it past chemotherapy. Who knows? So why am I worried about that? And that was for me. I just I was holding on to so much and with the kids and what's this, that. And I just like, but when I die, it's done. I can't worry about this. I just need to worry about me and what I'm projecting to them and to be there for them and just experience life.
So it's an attitude. It's how you define who you are in the scheme of
Mhm.
things and how you
Mhm.
manage it. So it's an
Right.
attitude that you have to have, or a thinking that you have to have, that defines or sculpts you into that.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And when I found out I had cancer, I was training for a half marathon, and I was doing hills. I was doing 5K. I was like, "What is going on?" And I went, "Fuck you, cancer! I'm doing that run," and I did it. It was long. It was ugly. It skipped my house. I was on the treadmill. Then I had to go to walking. And when I got my kids were just looking at me like, what is she doing? She was crazy. She's had chemo. And when I got done, I just laid down and bawled and bawled and bawled. And I'm like, you can't take that away from me. This is me. And I'm doing it. No matter what it looks like. I just couldn't let it take anything more from me.
Yeah, so cancer is separate from the person you are, and you stuck with the
Yeah.
person you are. You stood
That's
behind the
right.
person that you are.
Mhm.
That's awesome. That's really good. I don't know, Dr. Pram, did you have any questions?
I'm just blown away with you two women who have taken charge of your life in a very particular way. And I applaud you. I applaud both of you. That's amazing, amazing. So the mental emotional state, you just talked about it. How about your faith? Was your faith anything to do with who you are?
Yeah, I think I'm a spiritual faithful person and I did really rely on that. I have close friends that we talked about, what if and what's going to happen. And yeah, I think it kind of brings you closer. It's something else you can rely on to help you get through.
So, what I really want to know from you is, when you were going through surgeries, Allison, did you ever feel was that there has to be a better way, and is that what kind of made you want to start this Mozart mission?
No. No, I think I was so caught up. It was just so much. It was relentless. I ended up having 5 surgeries, with the last one being a double mastectomy. So every time it get hit again, I was like, "Are you kidding me again? What is going on?" And COVID was starting to ramp up, and it was just so upsetting to me. And so I think once I got through all of my treatment, and then I was able to, kind of come back into life and kind of reevaluate where I'm at. It was probably, I was close to Christmas, so I was done the end of July. So I think November I had read an article on line about a hospital that a lady, when she had passed away, had left a big gift in memory of her, for this hospital foundation, and they had purchased a similar 2D machine. And so I remember I was in office and I was like, well, why don't we have this capabilities? Like, what is going on that I needed to have so many surgeries? And surely there's other people who have experienced having multiple surgeries. So I just started calling and asking, their foundation. And then I put it out to our breast cancer group to say, hey, who's needed multiple surgeries? And we kind of did a poll, and then I did a really gross analysis of how much did I personally cost. When you think about how much money I cost our healthcare system, not only delaying my treatment and the stress that it brought on having multiple surgeries, but I was just like, there has to be a better way, and we need this machine up in Grande Prairie. And so when I put it out to our breast cancer group, I was like, hey, I have this great idea. Who wants to join? And it was just like, just overwhelming. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fantastic. Like you actually took something that you went through and you turned it into your power, you know.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny because Val and I have said that's one thing that's really been really important for me, is along the way to show my kids that, we can do hard things. We can go take something as terrible as cancer, and we can not come through, and we can, grind through it. And then once you're better, you can make it better for the next people, or for ourselves if we need it again, or our loved ones. It's like regular people can make a difference in. And I think that was really important for me to show my kids, that it's doable.
that it's doable and you did it.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah, we did it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it
But
was an awesome.
it was also visionary. It was visionary. You had a vision that said,
Yeah,
we need to do something more.
yeah. And then the community just came on board, and it really was overwhelming, the support, and it just kind of caught on. And I think because breast cancer affects so many people, it's something that everybody can say, it can be my sister, my mom, my girlfriend, that it's not something that it's just such a huge, widespread problem. So I think the community just jumped on board, and it was just really beautiful to see.
And it was interesting. It was all ages in our group, right? And all stages. Some retired people, some people that didn't work out of the home, some people, young kids, some with older kids. And we all sat around actually here in this house and just went, what do we have collectively that we can give to this group? And we're like, we need this, this, and this. And so we would just go, yeah, we got it. And Allison is a magician on Facebook. We had a page, she put it out there, and people just came out of the woodwork to give.
It really was organic. Like when they say, it just, I just think it touched so many people that when people were coming, there was a lady for her 85th birthday. She had asked, instead of gifts, that she wanted, donations to our MOZART mission. And it was just really inspiring to see what came out, and how people personally and business. It just was really a cool thing to be a part of.
So you actually
Yeah.
created a whole community around this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And with being in Grande Prairie, because we're the largest center for the North zone, people came from smaller communities of 5,000 people, 10,000 people. And Alberta is very oil and gas rich as well. And some of the people on our committee, their spouses or they worked for the oil companies. And we got donations of $25,000, $10,000, $50,000. And it just snowballed. The local co-op, they did free gave car washes for the month every Tuesday, and we got the money from that.
Yeah.
So when we went, our one fundraiser that we were doing, which was a mixer, by the time we got to that evening, we had the machine paid for.
Yeah. It was amazing.
We didn't even put up a poster. Like, we didn't even advertise it outside of the Facebook.
Gosh. And we had joined with our hospital foundation. And so they were really good in guiding us because they do a lot of community work to for fundraising initiatives and holding the funds. They were very helpful, and just kind of the liaison between the hospital and for us, the community. And it was pretty magical to be a part of.
And the thing with the MOZART machine is that it hits every group. So if you're worried about our healthcare system and the money that it's costing, well, if it's one surgery versus 5 surgery, you're saving that. And if you're worried about your mom for a hip replacement who's going to get bumped because of a cancer surgery, which it should, when your mom's not going to be waiting another 4 surgeries. There's one surgery, so they may get in before. And the other thing that I didn't realize until I was in with thick of it is the mental toll it takes on you to prepare for these things.
Right.
And so you've had your surgery and then you're waiting 2 weeks to find out if it's gone or if it's still there. And then you're physically and mentally have to prepare for the other surgery. And the other thing about the machine that's people could see is that you get through it faster, and it's helping the doctors do their jobs more efficiently. And it's a trickle down effect. It just hits.
Well, it looks like it takes the guesswork out of all of this,
Yeah, it gives you a confidence knowing that it's being removed instead of having to wait a dead star. So absolutely.
Yeah, I think I think it's a great tool in a surgeon's hand where the surgeon feels confident saying, I took out all the margins, you're cancer free, and we'll get it checked from pathology, but for now, it looks good. So
Right.
you
Mhm.
definitely you don't have to have 5 surgeries for sure.
Yeah.
One could be 2, but that's pretty much it. So the pain of going through surgeries, recovering from each surgery, all of that is taken care of, along with all the other benefits that you talked about. So, I mean, that's fantastic. So the MOZART mission is still alive, or you guys working under that foundation, or?
No, we kind of, after our mixer. So in 6 months, we'd had the funds, and the mixer was just so successful. So we were able to use the overage of funds, and we gave it to the
Mammography clinic that travels to the northern area and does mammograms in the small communities, villages, and on the reservations as well. So we gave a big chunk to help replace.
And there's been a bunch of spin-offs like Val, and we've been involved in a lot of other programs. And so the group itself doesn't have like a core, next step, but each member has kind of found other projects. I think it was just such a really unique and organic thing to be a part of. So
I think it's so inspirational. You guys, your work is so inspirational. You're not just helping other people, but you kind of created, this whole community where everybody wants to help more and more and do more things, with looking at what they could accomplish.
one thing that I remember we were talking about, and it really stayed with me, during our mixer, we were having like auctions and live auction. We had an auctioneer up there, and all these people had just come and donated their time, and their gifts for everybody. And so the crowd was bidding on these items, and I was just so overwhelmed that I put my head down and cried. And I was like, this is just unreal to think that the community is supporting us in such a big way. And this older gentleman came over, and he put his hand on my back and was like, girl, raise your head, be proud of this and just take it in. And I was just like, it was just such a beautiful experience.
For someone who doesn't
was.
want to ask for help,
I know. It really has been kind of that's been a big change for me to just be more vulnerable and and to accept help and to continue to give help. Yeah, I think it was our personal growth.
and what an amazing thing you guys have accomplished.
I'd like to see more communities do this.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, you've made this as a big, you've showcased what you can do. And that's important. And that's the big message for other people out there, that they can come together and create their health and their wellness.
And it's a whole person. It took Allison to find it, to read about it, and to inspire the rest of us to join on her bandwagon and get it to our community.
That was the easy part. The ladies, I like to say, they're just such a group of hustlers, which is kind of a bad thing, but everybody just worked so hard. And I think the community caught on to the excitement of like, hey, we can do this and we're getting close to our goal. And we had, kids were doing lemonade stands and bake sales and craft sales. And yeah, it was just a hoodie drive and a bottle drive. It was just people coming from all sorts.
What did the hospital say? What did the hospital and the doctor say?
I think they were super excited and thankful for our hard work. It was pretty big. The celebration when it came and when it finally showed up and we got to see it, it really was full circle. And I need to say on that note, my oldest daughter had taken like a tour through our hospital, and she said the guy giving the tour was like, and this machine was funded by our community, by a bunch of ladies, breast cancer, and he was kind of showcasing it. And my daughter's like, that's my mom. And I was so proud to show my daughter, who's now going into nursing. And she said she thinks that this whole thing has really helped guide her as well into, that kind of a caring, helping. So it has just been a whole, big thing for our family.
So, what's your vision, or what would you like to see in 5 years in every breast cancer OR in Canada?
Well, there's a couple initiatives. I belong to a couple different organizations, and we provide a support bag for every patient in Grande Prairie going through cancer treatment. And we do a fundraiser once a year, and all Victoria's Addicts Support the Girls. We have done a waiting room at the hospital. We provided bamboo ropes for the people in diagnostic imaging. And I would like to see more breast cancer groups find out what the need is in their community and fill that need.
Right.
Like Allison and I found out, some women were sleeping in their car because they couldn't afford to stay in a hotel overnight because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
And so there's been an initiative now that we've, the Support the Girl group has donated over $20,000 for rooms, for gas, for food, for medication, for sleeves. And because our healthcare is funded by the people and it's run provincially, we need more people to realize there's still things that we can do to make it better.
And I'd like to speak to you, like the technology to me is just phenomenal to see that something like this machine can see if there's clear margins. Like it's just like more technology. I just think it's so amazing what's coming up on the horizon, and it's only going to just keep getting better. And so that to me is really positive also.
Yeah, where technology is called the bad guy, it actually has helped people survive breast cancer in a better way. You know, so
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah, just
fantastic. Yeah. Val, what I would like from you is, can you tell us what the group is that you're part of that does this work? And, so that people, if they want to donate or if they want to help out, where can they go?
It's called we have a website and a Facebook page, Victoria's Attic Support the Girls. And once a year we do a fashion show. It'll be on October 9th this year. And we raise money at that event, and then people have donated money to us as well. And our mandate is to ensure that the money stays in Northern Alberta for the women in our communities and supports them. And we work with the social workers to get the vouchers to them and for them to let us know what else is needed if we're missing something. Like we said, everyone's journey is different. People need different things. And we don't know. We need them to speak up and let us know. So they can find us on Facebook and our website and see the previous events that we have done. Uh, we donating bags and water bottles, and it's just a wonderful.
Please pass on that information to us so we can put it in our show notes and people can then access that easily. Okay. Yeah. So, Dr. Pram, did you have any questions?
No, I'm just blown away. Just like, why can't more communities do this? And are the physicians or the surgeons also part of your group?
Yeah, we approached our surgeon, Dr. Shaw, and he was very good. He was very instrumental on giving us some feedback, and he was really like, "This is the machine, the 3D Mozart machine. This is what we want." And so he was really instrumental in helping guide us and to contact you guys and to reach out. And then he was a part of our mixer, and so he got up, and it was really beautiful because he spoke on the surgeon's part of what's the hardest thing of telling a patient is that we have to do it again, and to sit with somebody and tell them, so just to hear that side of the story was, yeah, it was very nice to hear. It was very supportive.
So, what message
don't-
would you like? Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think many patients stop and think about the doctor and their job when they have to tell the patient that they need to do. Yeah, you just think that they're a robot or something, that it doesn't affect them. So it was very eye opening for me to see how much passion and how he felt that it was so difficult for him.
It's nice to see their compassion towards their patients. Um, it helps to see the other side of the doctors for sure. So I wanted to ask you, what message would you share with women listening, those who are in the fight now, or those feeling helpless about someone they love?
I would say there's support out there. You need to find it. You need to reach out. And I'm not sure about anywhere but Canada, but we have social workers at the cancer center, and you need to reach out for them and you need to let them know that you need the help. It doesn't mean that you're any less of a person. You just need to reach out and you need to find the people who will help you. Like our breast cancer group, a lot of people, when I met them, I talked to people all the time about breast cancer and such. And they're like, I don't want to go to that group. I don't want to hear the negative. I don't want to. And I'm like, our group is not like that. We're there to support and be there for each other. And you need to find those people who will march with you and who will help you and be your advocate. Oh,
Yeah, I agree with Val, and I don't know. I think I would just say, just be kind to yourself and to accept help and to really break it down. And it's okay to cry and it's okay to accept, where you're at, and you just keep going through because you will, you know, carry on. So
as a snapshot in time of your life, it's not your entire life. And I do another thing. Look Good, Feel Better program at the hospital, and I'm the coordinator. So I go in on occasion and sit. And the looks on the women's faces, like one woman goes, "Yeah, you used to be a runner." I said, "Why are you not a runner? You're still a runner." She goes, "Well, I have cancer." I said, "Well, so did I. And I still run." And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Do not let it define you. And when they hear that it's been the 3 years and it's been the 4 years now, it just changes their whole perspective and gives like,
And to really, like I was saying, it's okay to sit in it. You can sit in it and feel it, but you can't stay there. We need to keep going because um, you can't allow it to take over because your mind and your thoughts and your physical, it does take over. So it's easy to be really put in a bad, in a really dark spot. So it's like sit in it, feel it, and then push through and really be an advocate. I think not enough is said about mental health support too. My family doctor had said he feels that every time if you have a cancer diagnosis, you should automatically see, a counselor or support, somebody just to help you work through it because it's not just physical and we look at it so much as physical, but a lot is mental, spiritual. And so to get that kind of support is just as important as your physical training.
well said, Alice. Yeah, so important."
Yes, I think it's your mind kind of blows it out of the proportions that it should. It should actually help you, but you can't help it because your body is in so much pain. And just to kind of shift from there, you need someone else to work with you to do that.
And sorry, one more thing. If I could tell somebody who was just starting their cancer journey, I would tell them to get their eyebrows done. Because they go away and they don't come back. And so it was the only thing that I did before treatment. I went and got them microbladed on, and I felt more like myself before because we copied what they were so that during treatment, when they disappeared, then I felt still like myself and I didn't have to worry about, you know,
That
putting them
is
in the
so
wrong spot.
important. That is so important. What you were and what you are is still the same person, but what you look like may be a little different.
Right. And we didn't really touch on that. And Val, that's something that Val and I have often talked about is like when you're going through the journey and really well-intentioned people come up and they give you advice or they ask you a lot of really personal, deep questions where it's like, why are you asking me this? And to really be like, it's okay, I can share as much or as little as I want or need to. And just because I've known you 10 years ago, I don't need to share all this, personal because people come out with some very odd thing and they want to help you. I think it's coming from a good place, but it is kind of overwhelming. And so to kind of, protect with your group of who you share and how personal or
And yeah, vulnerable. And cancer treatment is the same as it was 10 years ago. I was HER2 positive, so I would have been dead 10 years ago. By now they have anti-protein drug that they give you that fights against it. And they're every day they're doing new things. I did a seminar on immunotherapy. And at the time, he said, no, there's nothing for breast cancer. And I believe it was at the beginning of my journey. And now they do have using it for some forms of breast cancer. That's how rapidly it's changing. And they're researching and finding new ways. So hold on. You may hear a 60% of survival of not survival, but 60% survive, 5% survive. Be in that 5%, be in that 10%. Be counted and believe in himself.
I think mindset plays such a big role in your treatment. Um, Everything that you kind of come up with a positive attitude, I think you can get through pretty much everything and come out on the other side. But if you have an attitude where you're in pain and in the negative space, it kind of makes your journey worse and it makes it harder to come
and
out
when
on the
you
other
do
side.
when you get to the other side um, just to not let cancer take any more of your life. That was such an important for me, is that it was pretty much a whole year, a little bit over a year, and it had taken so much I felt away from me emotionally, spiritually, you know, financially with my kids. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm breaking up with cancer. I'm moving on. Get away.
Yeah. And find like-minded people. Allison and the other ladies in the group that were part of the MOZART mission, just so inspiring and there for you, and someone you can be honest with and talk about what's happening. I found the biggest shock to me when I got the call. I'm like, okay, so we're looking at 3 months, 4 months, and they're like, no, it's going to be like a year. I'm like, what the fuck? It's a long year. You know, I was just shocked. Realized it was long. Yeah.
Yeah. So be prepared for at least a year, is what you're saying. Okay.
And I had to take injections for 17 months because of the HER2 positive protein that I had.
That's a long time.
Yes, that's a long time. And you see everybody ringing the bell and happy, but you're like,
You're still plugging away.
that's right. Yeah. But it was good because I'm like, well, I would have been dead 10 years ago. Yeah. Good thing they found the protein and I can take it. That's right.
Thank you so much for talking with us about your journeys. I'm sure people who are, looking for hope and things that they would have never heard from, people who have not been through this. Maybe a lot of personal questions, like you said, but no advice as to how and what it looks like. This will be very beneficial for them.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, I feel I learned a lot from you.
Me too. Thank you.
I love your energy. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Yes.
Awesome.
Great work.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Awesome.
The MOZART mission isn't just about a machine. It's about giving every woman a better shot at healing the first time and reclaiming her body, her time, and her life. If this episode moved you, share it. Tag someone who needs to hear this. And if you want to learn more about the MOZART mission or how specimen imaging can change outcomes in breast surgery, check the show notes. Until next time, stay nourished, stay curious, and stay in your power. This is the Mood Food Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and like the Mood Food Podcast. Thank you.